Hello, hello. Welcome to another week. Hope you are doing well. Guess I can drop this down just a hair, huh? Let me adjust that just a... Ooh, come on. Yeah, that works. Let's do that. There we go. Good morning. Fantastic. Okay. So it looks like we're not having any hiccups this morning. Looks like we're good to go. Looks like things are good. Still learning. This is barely week 3. So I thank everybody for jumping on. I'm still going to be kind of moving my focus on different areas because I got the tablet, got the laptop here, got some notes down, and trying to figure out how I'm going to do things, making sure the sound is still working. I'm a one-man man. Is that how they say it? One-man band? One-man band. That's how they say it. So I'm the sound guy, the video guy, the photographer, the note taker, all of that. That's what I am. I'm all of that. So yes, hope you all had a good weekend. Let me know what you did this weekend in the comments. So we ran around a lot this weekend. Joined that new craze, pickleball. Played that. The last 2 days probably have went and played on 4 or 5 different occasions. Loving it, having too much fun doing it. It's been crazy, and that's kind of what put together what I want to focus on today. Keeping it short and sweet as usual. And I hope all you guys can join in on that. So, as usual, once we get started, as soon as you jump on, do me a favor, hit the like, thumbs up, the heart, whatever it is that you're using to watch this on. Hit a share if you can so we can continue to grow this thing and continue to have conversations. And as usual, I hope everybody is well, and I hope your day has started off fantastic. And I'll jump into it. So I put today is... don't be afraid. So that is our topic today that we're going to be talking about. So it's basically being fearless. You can be successful if you've got the drive, right? And that drive comes being afraid to go out and attempt different things, being afraid to go out and do something new and different, do something that's out of the norm. And again, as we've talked about, out of that comfort zone. There's a good quote that I found from Tim Ferriss that says, "Don't be afraid of failure. Don't let it stop you. Failure gives you experience, and experience makes you better." So I think that's one of the things, again, jumping into pickleball, trying to do things and learn how to play, learning all the rules, learning where to be, learning all the positions. And thank you, motivators. We actually went out with a few of you yesterday morning, so we appreciate you guys kind of guiding us through and showing us how to play and giving us words of encouragement and coaching us up. So I appreciate that. So again, like I said, I took that experience and tried to put it into a lesson today about not being afraid. So oftentimes we're afraid to go out and try something new. We're afraid to do something that we may not be great at straight away, or we may look kind of foolish doing. And personally, I love those situations because I know that I'm going to put the work in order to take myself up a couple notches in whatever it is that I'm doing. So it's the same with this podcast. I'm constantly trying to read and reach out to people that may have a podcast, that may have worked with somebody that was on a podcast, that may have other information that I may not be privy to when I first started getting going. So each week I want to try to make sure that I'm doing better for all of you that are viewing in and watching. So as usual, like I said, drop something in the chat if you agree, don't agree, doing the same on the same path. Let me know. And again, this podcast is about conversations back and forth. So with that being said, first time stepping on the court, of course you're a little timid, you're a little shy, you're a little stand backish because you don't quite know what's going on, how to do things, and you're still trying to just figure out what works and what doesn't work. And again, having a good group of motivators that were out there to help us along the way obviously made things a little bit easier on our second day of going out. So our first day was actually Saturday, and what's funny is I still saw a motivator out there. She just happened to be 2 courts over playing. So with that, when you get out there and you just jump into it, all of a sudden that fear will kind of dissipate. That fear will kind of fade away once you take that initial step to it. So of course, leading up to the event of doing whatever it is that you're doing. So first time gym goer, speaking, going on that first date, a new school, new class, a new job site, whatever that is, you're going to have a little bit of fear at first because you're going to something unknown. But you could do what you can to prepare yourself to kind of remove some of that fear and some of that doubt. And then as you go in, that's going to drop the fear level and maybe raise the, I don't want to say anxiety levels, but the excitement levels, kind of raise the excitement levels. You might get a few butterflies, especially if you're jumping into something that you think you're going to enjoy or something that you do enjoy and something that you've been looking to get into. So again, with that came the failure. So failing in doing a serve over the net, failure in trying to hit the little dinks, and that's when you're up in the kitchen, right? So I'm learning all that terminology there, and that's all fun. It's enjoyable when you're getting something new, you're learning something new, you're not that great at it, and everybody around you is that much better. For me, that's enjoyable. I love doing that because I like seeing how high I can elevate, how much better can I get, how much I can improve. And that was something that came up this weekend, and I love those. I haven't been in that kind of situation in a while, except for on the business front, but now we've been in the business going on 6 years, so it's not as fearful, I guess, so to speak, until we start to do some renovations and change things up a little bit. And what we always try to do is we always try to better ourselves every few months. So we sit down and talk about how can we be better? What areas can we improve in? What else can we dive into? And again, that's where the fear comes back, because what if you do fail? What is going to happen? How far back is that going to set you? So it's a little bit different building a business aspect of it, because that's how you make your living, that's how you provide for your family, versus maybe stepping out and doing something that's out of your comfort zone that's not going to destroy you. It's not going to cause any situations for you not to live anymore. You know what I mean? So those things there is kind of how you want to weigh things out. So with that, again, the more times that you can get out there and fail, the quicker you can gain experience, and the more you'll be able to grow and learn, right? So I jumped straight into it. So the morning of that Saturday, I went by myself and just went out there and, hey, new here, I want to play. Okay, so is it okay if I jump in? Jumped in, they let me in, introduced me to the game, and very welcoming, and showed me how to do different things and whatnot. And I just followed along and tried to get into it. And the failure came, and the failure came, and the failure came. But by the end of the first hour and a half of that first day, the first time being out there, I was already twice as good as when I first arrived. And I took those lessons and went home, talked about it with Katie, and was like, hey, let's go back out later today and get things rock and rolling. So went out with Katie and my brother later that evening, and we played again, and still picking up new things, learning where to move, when to go towards the kitchen, when to drop back to the line, and when to shift and slide, how to hold your racket and or paddle, excuse me, how to hold your paddle and all of that. And that stuff is exciting to me. And again, I was not good at it. I still failed miserably. I still hit the ball into the net, I don't know how many times. Still did not serve the ball in the area that I needed to serve it in, but it was fun. It was new. It was different. It was exciting. And then so from there, we went Sunday morning with our motivators, had a great time out there. I think we stayed almost an hour and a half, close to 2 hours. We were having such a blast, we were almost going to be late for church. So we learned so much there, and got more coaching and figuring new things out. And went to church, had a good time there. And we decided, okay, we're going to go again in the evening. So this, again, is another area of where I took notes because I wanted to bring it into the podcast again. So if you express to them the things that maybe that you want to do, that you're chasing or thinking about, they're going to be apprehensive towards it, or may push back negatively towards it. So we're my brother and I and sister-in-law and Katie went out, and we were playing, and got into a discussion of something came up in tournaments. I was like, oh, that would be nice to play in a tournament. And somebody gave the negative feedback of, oh, you would play in a tournament, you would get destroyed in a tournament. Why would you do that? Now, them not knowing me, obviously, they wouldn't understand. If I want to do something and I want to learn, I want to get thrown into the deep end. I don't want to walk on the shallow end. I don't want to barely stick my toe into the water. I want to go in. That is where you gain the most experience. That is where you're going to have the most failure. Yeah, I might go to the tournament and get destroyed. So what? It's not the end of the world if I go to this tournament and get destroyed and get embarrassed. It's no big deal to me. I'm going to still be me. I'm going to be fine. The difference is when I go to this tournament and I play, I don't know, 3 or 4 matches. I don't really know how it's lined up yet. Again, more reason to do more research and jump into it. But let's say you play 3 or 4 matches with people that are 3 or 4 times as good as you. You're going to observe how they're doing things, how they're approaching the games, how they're moving, what they're thinking about. And if you're humble and you're not a complete what's the word I'm searching for here? Not an embarrassment to the game, but someone that's disrespecting the game. You're showing respect for the game. Your opponent is going to recognize that, and your opponent is going to see how hard you're trying at things, right? And again, that could be the first time going to the gym. Could you imagine your first time going to the gym and someone was speaking down about you because of the way that you did a curl, or the way you were doing triceps, the way you were doing your push-ups, instead of encouraging you and showing you the proper way to do things and showing you that form? Or the first time that you went to a new job site and maybe they have certain protocols that they go through to get things done, and you do things a little bit differently, a little bit more awkwardly would be the word there, right? Could you imagine if instead of them assisting you, they just spoke negatively towards you, or talked down to you? There's no way you would have any growth, because you need someone there to reassure you that you're going to learn it, you're going to pick it up, you're going to get better at it. That's kind of where I took the information. Why not be encouraged and say, oh yeah, go out and do that. Now, however, when you go out, you want to pay attention to this, or when you're going through things, you want to pay attention to that. You want to make sure that you're doing this properly. So again, that's not going to be something that pushes me back. But the reason I wanted to do this, because I know people that if they're trying something new and someone does give them negative feedback when they are so new at it and don't quite recognize their capabilities, now they're going to stand off on it. They're going to doubt themselves, and then they're not going to try to attempt the things that they should be attempting because of what someone else said. That's why I wanted to put this one together. Don't be afraid of doing something because someone else doesn't believe in you. Don't be afraid of going after the things that you want in life because 1 or 2 people said this over here. Because in my personal experience with traveling the States and traveling the world, I've noticed that there are, at the end of the day, 10 and 20 times more, maybe 100 times more people that actually do believe in you and believe that you're capable of doing things than it is those that don't. So what I mean by that is, by every 1 person that's talking negatively to you and not treating you right, I guarantee you there's another 100 that will do the exact opposite, that will be uplifting, encouraging, motivating, inspiring to you, to your growth and your development. But you have to be willing to stick with it, you have to be willing to endure some of that negativity so that you can push through. Because I guarantee you, if you're honestly trying, you're giving an honest effort, you are going to be better that next week. And that's what we talk about here, is just being better than yesterday. If you can be better than yesterday, you will get to the destination that you set out for yourself. You have to be willing to do that. Make sure I'm checking this chat to make sure anybody didn't add anything. So if you agree, just hit a yes for me. Boom, so I know you're there. A thumbs up, some kind of emoji, so I know that you're right along with me. And if I'm saying something that's wrong, let me know. You have to be willing to accept that there's always going to be that one person, maybe two, that are saying certain things. But again, in my opinion, those that are saying that they have self-doubt. They have a lack of self-belief. They have a lack of self-confidence. And oftentimes they put their feelings on you, right? So if they're not capable of doing something, then they also believe that you're not capable of doing it at the same time. When I believe that is totally wrong. If you're willing to put the effort in, you're willing to fight for it, I believe that you can crush anything you want. And I wrote a note, we live in a society where dreamers are often told they will not succeed because they have not succeeded before or quite yet. We are told that we should be happy with what we have because if we try more, then we're going to reach other failures. We're not going to reach that goal. And then our outcome is going to be left behind and then we're going to feel defeated. Our dreamers' dreams seem foolish and unrealistic when people tell us the odds against them in succeeding. So again, I like to give personal experiences. That's why I like to jump in the chat here so that we can engage in personal experiences. So it's the same for, I'll give the obvious one. I played soccer and I played it professionally. There are people that told me that I wouldn't be able to play in college, that I wouldn't be successful in college. Prove them wrong through just hard work, dedication, and being respectful to the game. And that allows you to elevate. There are people who told me that I wouldn't be able to play professional soccer, that I wouldn't be successful at professional soccer. And again, saying it was the opposite again. Working hard, staying dedicated to game, respecting the game, and trying to learn as much as possible. I may not have been a superstar or whatever the case may be, but that was okay with me. My goal was to play. My goal was to follow my dream. My goal was to go after the things that I wanted. And that was what I was capable of doing. And you just got to go after it and not worry about what everybody else is saying. And that's perfectly fine. All right. So go for what you want. Believe in yourself. And the shirt for today is what we have here. It's no secrets to success. There's no secret for those that are successful. It is basically the same path, and no matter what vertical someone may be in, it's hard work and staying dedicated. Hard work and staying dedicated. Why am I having a tough time saying dedicated? Hard work and staying dedicated. Continuing to go after what you want and what you believe that you're capable of doing. So you have to be willing to go after it and keep going and go after it and keep going and keep fighting, and recognize that you're not going to be good off the bat, but you're going to get better. And then you might have another low day, but you're going to get better because you would have learned something that you didn't know before that's going to allow you to elevate your game. So continue to focus on that, recognize that, remember that. Okay. So I appreciate you guys being on here today. Hopefully that will encourage you to go after something this week. And hopefully that will encourage you to continue to build more and more self-confidence, okay? So have yourself a great day. I appreciate you jumping on as always. And as always, remember to be better than yesterday. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.